What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over ranking our top tight ends right now in college football 25 Ultimate Team on A tier list from S tier all the way down through F tier. Now, I want to start with this. Like, if you look at the quarterback, running back, wide receiver positions, a lot of those positions depend specifically on abilities, right? So, what abilities do cards come with, and where do they stack up after that? Now, the tight end position. Look, I don't think abilities are that important on tight ends. Like, sure, you might add an ability if you want to, but like at this stage, I feel like the majority of people are adding like gold takeoff to cards, gold shifty, adding abilities to quarterbacks. And so for the tight ends, it's pretty standard, right? Do tight ends get, good stats, and how complete of tight ends are they? That's really what it comes down to. So as we do dive into this, if you're new to the channel, please smash that subscribe button. I really do appreciate all the support on the channel as always. Bauer Sharp started up first, 93 speed, 92 acceleration, decent enough route runner, 6'4". I just think at this stage, he's a fine tight end. Like, I mean, if you're running him, you're probably okay. Like, he's not necessarily the best tight end in the game, but, he can obviously play. So I'm not going to hate on Bauer Sharp at all. I definitely think he is definitely a tight end or that can help you guys out in a big time way. I'm going to throw him at that B tier. Next up, Theo Melon Orstrom, I think is how you pronounce it. If I pronounced it wrong, I am sorry. 91 speed, 93 acceleration, decent route runner, 6'6". Again, it comes down to this. If you like to run block, he's not a great run blocker, but he can catch the ball decently. I might have to move these cards down. They're just not great. They're just not great at all. Kittleman up next. I mean, for a 98 overall tight end, I'm not going to lie. This card is kind of a letdown. I mean, I'm not hating, but he is. 94 speed, 94 acceleration. Great catching, great route runner. Still, compared to all the other tight ends, he's a beast. Especially since he's an LTD. You can get him to fit your scheme. I mean, S tier probably I don't know if he's the best tight end in the game. But because you can change his scheme, I feel like you've got to hype it up decently, right? Like, that's just my opinion on it. Like, if you're looking at a tight end and you can change his scheme to fit yours, he fits that scheme, boosted times 2, has these stats, still I got to go A tier. Because there are better tight ends in the game. Haas up next. I have no idea what this card gets into. I can say I don't think he's that great. Otherwise, I would, know about him. 92 speed, 90 acceleration, 6'3", 88 run blocking is decent. Decent short route running. He's just not ideal. Like, is he even better than Bauer Sharp? I don't think so. Like, I think the cards are on that same type of level. So, for Haas, I'm going to throw him at the C tier. Hate me if you want, but that's where I got him. Landon Thomas up next. A lot of it comes down to these fraternity cards. I just don't think are great. 92 speed, good acceleration, decent catching the football, decent run blocker, 6'4". I mean, he's fine, but is he above C tier? Like, that's the question I've got for you guys. To me, I don't think he is. And I'm not hating on the card, but that's just where I've got these tight ends that I just think are okay. They're not great. Rob Gronkowski up next is a beast of a tight end. And I think it starts with the fact of, his speed. His speed is if you look at Rob Gronkowski, 93 acceleration, carrying stats, route running. He's just better than these previous tight ends. I think he's an A tier tight end. I think Gronk is that level of good. Harold Fannin Jr. up next. He's a decent, I think he's a decent run blocker, if I do remember right for the card. 87 run blocking. As far as catching the football, he's okay, not great. Honestly, he is D tier. Latu up next, I should say. And as I do dive into it, maybe these cards will have to get moved up. It's just tough because, again, I've spread these cards out, so I don't know who's going to be at the top. I don't know who's going to be at the bottom. 92 speed, 90 acceleration, decent route runner, 6'7". I actually don't think that this card is F tier, right? I think he's just as good as the guys I got at D tier, so that's where I'm going to put him. Eli Raridon up next. It's labeled a blocking tight end here, and he does come with the 91 speed, decent acceleration, decent route runner, good run blocker. I think he's a D tier level, though. He's not bad. but I do think he is that D tier type of level. Mason Taylor up next. Another tight end here. This is a season card, so I'm not expecting him to be good. 90 speed, decent route runner. I mean, he's F tier. He is our worst tight end that we've covered. Now, if you're running him, I'm not going to sit up here and act like he can't play, because you can play him, but he is the worst tight end that we have seen this far. My current tight end is Evan Ingram, and I love what Evan Ingram does provide for you guys on the field. I mean, you look at a 94 speed, good catching the football, good route runner. Only thing he can't really do is run block, right? If you're looking for a good run blocker, Evan Ingram is not your guy. But if you're looking for a pass catcher for his price, I mean, I think Evan Ingram is your guy. 80,000 coins for Evan Ingram, sign me up. Max Clara up next. I mean, again, we'll have to look at it. He is a 95 overall, so the card should be decent. When you look at Max here, 93 speed, good route runner, good run blocker. He is decent, guys. This card is actually really solid, better than I thought he honestly would be. I'm going to throw him at B tier. Like, I really think he is deserving of that. Good speed, good run blocker. And again, see if these guys fit what you're wanting, but for 59,000 coins, I think you can do a lot worse than Max Clark. Tony Gonzalez up next. He's got to go at S tier. Now, I will say this. I do not think Tony Gonzalez is worth locking in the Legends for. 95 speed, great route runner, good carrying. Run blocking is not that great. He is S tier, right? But the question I would ask, and this is just me talking to you guys can let me know your thoughts, is how much better truly is he than Evan Ingram, right? Like, he's better for sure, but is he worth that amount of coins? No, he's not. Like, it's just really that simple. Calerup up next. I have no idea what this card gets into. Like, literally have never played against this card. I don't even remember seeing this card into the game. 91 speed. Decent run blocking, like decent catching the football, but the 91 speed is troll. I'm putting him at D tier. Like, if you've got 91 speed, at the tight end position, I just think you leave something to be desired. Sadiq up next. Let's see what he gets into. Again, it's tough for me to remember all of these cards. 91 speed. He's not even as good as the card I just went over. He's D tier as well. Brock Bowers, S tier. Probably your best tight end in the game. Every time I play against Brock Bowers, he absolutely cooks me. Like, single-handedly cooks me. 96 speed, 98 acceleration, great catching the football. Is he the best tight end in the game? Honestly, I think so. And if you really want, Tony Gonzalez, just go get Brock Bowers. Like, genuinely, this card is just as good as Tony Gonzalez is going to be, maybe even better. Brock Bowers is a stud on this game. So tough to defend against with that 96 speed. Martellus Bennett up next. He had his time in the game. That time has came. That time has went. He's just too big to, move fluid. Does have 93 speed, decent route running. I mean, C tier is where he deserves, but anything higher than that is crazy. Jack Velling had his time in the game. Another card that for his time was really good. It's just that time is over. Like, I'm sorry to Jack Velling, but with 90 speed, not really even a great route runner. Like, he's a decent route runner for 2 months ago. At this stage, you're F tier. I'm sorry, you are. What is this? Cockmerrick up next. Let's see what he gets into as far as the tight end. 89 speed. Yeah, okay. I'm moving these guys up. These guys are not quite F tier. This guy down here is F tier, right? Like, there's levels to it. These guys are F tiers, and I'm going to move some cards up that I don't think deserve to be in this D tier. Bauer Sharp, I'm going to move up to C tier. Same thing with Haas, same thing with Landon Thomas. I think I've got to, right? I was gassing, it a little bit, but not ranking cards as high as they should be to start, but I am fixing it. Jake Bringenstool up next, surprisingly is still good. Like, honestly, I didn't think that this card would be good for as long as he is, but his route running is good, his catching is good, he can run block decently. I think C tier is the right tier, but he is still decent. This next card is interesting. Hanning, like, he is good if you want a run blocking tight end. Anything else this card is not great at, but if you want a run blocking tight end, the 95 run blocking is decent. So for that, I'm going to throw him at D tier. But if you actually want a guy to catch football, he's F tier. George Kittle up next. I think you've got to go S tier. I think it's close, right? I don't think he's quite as good as Brock Bowers. I'd probably rank these cards like this. But if you need a tight end, George Kittle is one of the best options in the game. 95 speed, great route running, good carrying, and honestly, the run blocking for George Kittle is good as well, right? That's something that I really haven't talked a ton about, but that is obviously important to mention. George Kittle, you could argue, is the most complete tight end in the game. For their prices, I'm probably taking Brock Bowers, but George Kittle is really solid on this game. Vernon Davis is still really good, honestly, and I know people want to say, oh, Ty, he fumbles too much, these types of things, but Vernon Davis is still pretty solid. I do think he is B tier at this stage, but I do want you guys to know, like, Vernon Davis can still hold it down. Like, if you're running him, he is still fine at that tight end position. Tyler Warren, one of your better tight ends in the game, one of the best tight ends in the game. I think you got to argue low end to S tier for Tyler Warren, which is crazy because the card is only a 96 overall, but he's got 95 speed, 92 acceleration. Run blocking obviously isn't ideal for the card, but I'm telling you, at 6'6", I still got him at that S tier, low end to S tier, but I do think he deserves that. Kyle Pitts up next. I think I've got to go B tier with Kyle Pitts, although you could argue A tier. 92 speed is the problem with him. Yes, route running is fantastic. He can run block decent, but again, with the low-ish speed, maybe I'm gassing him. The 95 acceleration is nice. I think you've got to argue B a tier for Kyle Pitts. For his time, I really did like him. Jack Andrews up next. Like, I ran the card for a while, right, because he fit my chemistry, but he's just not great, you know? Like, he's really not 91 speed, catches the ball decent. I mean, I've got to go D tier. I can't put him at C tier. I just don't think he does enough. And from a guy, like, I've used him enough to really know what he gets into. Todd Heap, I've got to say, I struggled defending against Todd Heap about as much as anybody else on this game. 94 speed, great route running, good carrying, gets open, 6'5". He's A tier. I mean, he absolutely is A tier. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you run that spread scheme as well, obviously is great. Todd Heap is good, for sure. Tanner Cazio up next. One of your best budget tight ends in the game. That's what he is, though. He's a budget tight end. I'm going to throw him at C tier because I think that's where he belongs. But the card can play 93 speed, decent route running. Can't run block at all. So if you need a tight end to, do any blocking, I'd recommend looking elsewhere. But if you need a guy just to run routes and get open and you're really struggling, balling on a budget, Cazio is the option that I would go with. Big Cat up next. Where does he rank at the tight end position? It's crazy the fact that he is even in this game. Like, it's still crazy to be, but 94 speed, 93 acceleration, good route runner, good run blocker. I think you got to go low end to A tier. I think he's at A tier, though, for sure. But I think the lower end of A tier is probably right. Trey McBride, it's sad because for his time, I mean, was like the Cazios of the world. Like, he was really, really good for his time. Had good speed. Pretty tough to defend against, honestly, was Trey McBride. Just at this stage, time has came, time has went. Probably D tier is right. Burnett up next, Arizona tight end. Let's see what he gets into. And again, for me, I don't remember all of these cards. So again, it's good for me to look at him. Only 89 speed, not a great run blocker. It's just like at 6'6", sure, he gives you something. Not a lot. D tier. Luke Lachey had his time, wherever Jack Velling is. Like, again, these were the tight ends. Come 3 months ago, ran the game. The time has came, the time has went. These guys are no longer good. Trig up last. This card is a stud of a tight end on this game. And honestly, I think you've got to go S tier. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about it. 95 speed, 97 acceleration, great catching the football, great run blocker. Am I crazy to say that, like, he could be the best tight end in the game? Am I crazy to say that? Like, he's got to be one of the most complete tight ends in the game. Easy addition at that S tier for me with Michael Trigg. That is going to wrap it up for our tight end tier list. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Again, a lot of these cards are just slightly outdated. Not to say you can't run them, but are just that slightly outdated. Let me know your thoughts on this list. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.